Summer tends to bring up all of our insecurities and self doubt. If you want to boost your confidence and self worth so that abundance can flow through every aspect of your life, then you need to join my free Summer of Self Love Challenge, where I will teach you 5 simple yet effective strategies to help you reclaim your self worth and receive what you truly desire. Click the link in the show notes to sign up for free. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to another episode of Breathe More. Today, we're going to be talking about negative self talk. This is another thing that I see and hear so many of you struggling with, that voice inside our head that doesn't believe in ourselves, that's mean, that critical voice that's creating so much stress within ourselves and overwhelm and just doubt. And this voice, when we do the digging work, probably originated by someone else, whether it was a caretaker or a teacher. I have heard from so many of my clients that it was actually their teacher who, I mean, listen, I don't want to like bash teachers. One of my sisters is a teacher. Your work is so hard, but there's some teachers out there who are really hard and say things even though maybe they mean well with it, but the way that the child hears it is, "You aren't good at what you're doing. You should never do this because you're terrible at it." And that leaves an imprint in our unconscious mind, in our conscious mind, and that voice stays with us until we do the healing work. So, regarding negative self-talk, it's something that can be deeply ingrained, but it's also something that we can overcome. And this is something that I help my clients through, where they describe themselves in a certain way, they speak of themselves in a certain way, they use certain words that aren't uplifting or positive, and I shine light on it. I let them know it's like, oh, it's interesting that this is how you described yourself, or this is how you're speaking about yourself. And most of the time, they're not even aware of it. It's like so ingrained that starting to have the awareness, it's like you can see their eyes get all big. It's like, oh my gosh, that's so right. Like, yeah, I do speak of myself that way. Yeah. Deep down inside, I don't think that I'm good at this, or I beat myself up, or I'm really critical with regarding myself. So it's that inner dialogue, that negative inner dialogue that tells us we're not good enough, that we can't achieve our goals, that keeps us in the same place, feeling stressed out, feeling overwhelmed, scared, in the job that we don't like, in the relationship we don't like, struggling financially, because this voice is telling us this is what you're deserving of. This is the best you can do. Why even bother? That's not for you. You're not deserving of it. And there are some huge consequences of negative self-talk. I mean, not only anxiety, this is like one symptom that I see in so many of my clients, but depression, being disassociated, not being able to have intimacy with your friends, with your partner, because of this critical voice inside of you, because you're putting up then protective walls. Already, you're so hard on yourself. Like the thought of someone else, a stranger or a loved one, being critical with you would just crush you. And so you have limitations on how much you share about yourself. So the first thing that we can do in overcoming this negative self-talk, as I mentioned, is becoming aware of it. Like really pay attention to your inner dialogue. Notice how you're speaking about things. Notice how critical you are. And then once you're aware, you can start to challenge those thoughts. Like, first of all, ask yourself, is this statement that I just said about myself even true? Or is it a lie? Is this an old identity that I'm still carrying on with or carrying? Right. And so that awareness allows us to start to create a separation, some distance. between a thought and a belief and a voice that isn't loving and compassionate and not helpful, it's actually causing harm, and then your truth, your beautiful essence, the possibility of what you can do, your gifts. So I like to use affirmations when it comes to this, and affirmations in a way where if you're on one side of the pendulum, let's just give the example. If right now you're telling yourself, I'm ugly, for you to just recite, I'm beautiful, your mind is going to reject it. Your mind is going to be like, you're lying. You're not beautiful. Why are you saying this? You're stupid for saying this. Right? That negative, critical, mean voice will probably come out even stronger. And so that's not how I do affirmations. It's not just the complete opposite. I like to phrase them in a way where your mind is not going to automatically reject the statement. So if we're using again the statement of going from I'm ugly to I like my eyes, I have a nice smile, I like my hair. So you see how I'm pointing out certain things that you probably like about yourself? And we're just building off of that, right? So we're not going to the other extreme, but you're stating true statements. And the reason why I also use the word like and not love is because maybe that's where you're at, where it's so hard for you to fully love yourself, to fully embrace yourself, to fully be kind to yourself. And so we got to start with just describing as a, I like it, right? It feels a little bit more neutral, yet positive at the same time. So that's my invitation to you. Start to become aware of your thoughts. Is it true? Is this a lie? Who used to say this to you? Are these voices thoughts someone else's? And then let's start the reframing. What's a more kinder, passionate, loving way that you can describe yourself or the situation and circumstance? Another thing is bringing in the possibility. Like, I'm terrible at tech. I don't know how to do tech. I hear that a lot in my people in my Dream Bigger mastermind. All right, but do you want to learn? So instead of just making it so definite that you are always going to be terrible with technology, what if I'm going to learn how to become more proficient or confident when it comes to using tech? I'm smart. I can figure it out. See, so again, we're easing into it. We're not now going to the other extreme of saying, I'm amazing at tech. I'm super techie. No, we're going into the possibility. This is what I can work on. This is what I'm willing to do. So the next part of minimizing and silencing, not just silencing, but really like healing that negative self-talk is to practice self-compassion, to treat yourself with the same kindness and respect that you would with your best friend. So when you catch yourself, because we're now doing the awareness part, right? When you're catching yourself going into that negative self-talk, think about it. Would I say that to my friend? Is that how I would speak to her or him? Probably not. So what's another way that I can say it? The other really powerful tool that I use with my clients when helping them overcome negative self-talk is connecting with your inner child. I have a picture of myself from kindergarten at my desk, and I look at her all day long. And everything that I do, how I speak about myself, how I take care of myself, I'm thinking of that little girl that was scared, that felt alone, that little girl who always had a smile on her face, but really she was frightened, she was overwhelmed. And so I invite you as well to pull up a picture of you as a child. And now think of that negative self-talk that's been on a loop. Would you say that to her? to him, to them, that 7-year-old, that 5-year-old, that 2-year-old? No, you wouldn't. Well, guess what? That little you is inside of you. It's part of you. So if you wouldn't speak like that to a child, to your inner child, why are you speaking like that to yourself as an adult? So that's a really powerful visual representation of cultivating more self compassion. The other thing that is really important is look at who surrounds you. Who is your core group of people that you're always interacting with, including coworkers, your friends, your family members, your loved ones? How do they speak about themselves, about the world? Are they constantly speaking negatively? Are they constantly putting themselves down? Do they also suffer from loving themselves or struggle with, not suffer from? And if so, can you start to surround yourself or call in people who see possibility, who cheer you on, who celebrate you, who tell you, even when it's hard for you to believe, you are beautiful, you're amazing, you're so talented. When you surround yourself with positive people, that changes your energy as well. It has a big influence, and it's an example and a mirror, especially if for you it's difficult to do. That's why I love hosting my Dream Bigger Mastermind, because you are in a container for 6 months where there's so much positivity, where there's so much hope, where there's healing, where there's expansion, where it's a safe space for you to share your big dreams. We want that for you. So that's my invitation to you. Not only to join my upcoming Dream Bigger Mastermind, which is starting in September, but to take inventory of who your network is, of who you spend the most time with. And are you speaking like them? Are they rubbing off on you the negativity, the loss of hope, the stress? And if so, no judgment. Life is hard, right? But that's also exhausting. Let's also bring in positive people who always find a solution, who believe in themselves to help you on your own journey of self-compassion and love. Obviously, healing work is super helpful to silence, to end, to reprogram these negative thoughts. And that's so much of the work that I do, the reprogramming, the aligning your mindset, your thoughts with your goals, with how you want to feel, with what you want in your life. And so I do that using breath work. I do that with meditations. I do that with guidance, inner child healing, teenage healing. So access meditations, resources, mindfulness practices to help you shift your energy into one that's more positive and loving towards yourself. And the other thing is, as much as I'm someone who dreams really big and has these insane goals that on paper, it's like, there's no way. But I love that I have manifested the impossible. I bend time. I call in miracles all the time. My life is so rich because of that. On paper, I'm not a millionaire, but I feel like my life is that of a millionaire where I get to experience such beautiful things. But with that, I also set goals for myself that are tangible, that are realistic, smaller goals to help the momentum to fuel those bigger goals. And so that's another thing that you can do. Let's set some realistic goals that you can achieve today. And then when you do achieve them, we're going to celebrate them. We're not going to go on to the next one and be like, oh, but that was easy, but that was already coming. No, that took intention. That took action. That took bravery. And we need to celebrate that, no matter how small it may be. That again helps to fuel a positive self-image, self-confidence. And with that, this isn't an easy fix, right? This has been part of your programming. It's how probably you have shown up and spoken about yourself for so many years, probably for the majority of your life. And so it's a journey to undo that, right? There's layers upon layers that we need to shed. But just because I'm saying that doesn't have to mean that it's going to take a long time. It doesn't have to mean that it's going to be painful. If anything, it's going to be liberating. It's going to be empowering. It's going to change your life. So, as a way to help you out on this transformation, if you haven't already, I have a free Summer of Self Love Challenge, which is 5 practices to help you cultivate more positivity, self love, and confidence into your life, because that is the foundational work of then manifesting. And if you're looking for lasting change, where you're done with the freebies. I get it. We all do that, right? We're listening to podcasts, we read the self-help books. And you're like, okay, I've had some improvements, but I want more. Well, for those of you who want more, I still have availability for my one-on-one radiate program. Y'all, I'm working with one of my clients right now. We've had 2 sessions and already incredible shifts, not only in how she's feeling, but her mindset and how she's showing up. Like we started her feeling all the feelings of abandonment, inner child triggered, feeling rejected, struggling with dating life. And now she's like so connected with how amazing she is. And all of the tears that were shed about the ending of a relationship, she's like, whatever, it was a gift that it ended. That happened in 2 sessions, y'all. We have 2 more to continue the up leveling. So if you are ready for that, book a free call with me for my Radiate program, and let's talk about what you're struggling with, what your goals are, and I will let you know what I recommend for you, and then we can start doing the work together. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you found today's episode helpful. I haven't asked for you. One of my intentions with this podcast is to spread the word, to help empower people. For those who are feeling lost, who are struggling, there's so much pain and overwhelm right now. Share with them my podcast, share this free resource where different episodes are different tools. Some of them are meditation, some of them are action steps that you can take. Some of it is journaling prompts, some of it is guest healers. Let's spread the word with Breathe More and get it in more people's ears so that we can continue to help other people heal. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. I love you. I celebrate you. And we'll be back next week with more tips and more healing and more transformation. Until next time, remember to keep breathing, and I'll be back real soon.